Morning, Doug. A reflection question. This is going to be the third meeting between Carson and Jared. 5 years in since Jared went to them and you guys took Carson. You didn't have the first pick that year, but Carson was the guy you wanted. Why, looking back on it, why was he the right guy for this team at the time?
Well, I mean, obviously both quarterbacks were at the top of the list. We had done our due diligence on both quarterbacks, on both players, and we like Goff as well. And yet, looking back and kind of thinking back on some of the conversations, just felt that Carson was the fit for us here in Philadelphia. His makeup, his chemistry, the style of play kind of fit what we were doing, and that's nothing against Jared Goff, because he's obviously had a great career so far. So and it just made Carson a better fit for us at the time.
Following up real quick, Doug, if they had shocked you and taken Carson, would you have taken Jared?
Yeah, I think looking back, that would have been probably the next step for us was to take Goff. We were prepared, I think, in that situation to be pleased with either one.
Go ahead, John, and then Dave Zangaro.
Morning, Doug. With the issues the offensive line had on Sunday and Aaron Donald, the way they seem to move him all around, how important will the communication and the assignments and all that be for the offensive line this Sunday?
Well, obviously Aaron Donald's a great player, tremendous player. And, there's not many offensive lines out there that really kind of slow this guy down. I mean, he just he goes from snap to whistle. He's 100 miles an hour, and that's tough for us. It's about understanding where he aligns up, and he does move. It's a different scheme. It's not the same Wade Phillips scheme. It's a different scheme. So they move him around the D line just a little bit more. So it's going to be imperative that we understand where he's at, and communication is of the utmost, obviously, and it starts with Kelsey and echoes along the offensive line. So we just have to be aware of where he's at.
Dave, and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Doug, we've heard about just about every other injured player except for Javon Hargrave. It's been about a month since the start of training camp. Is he getting any closer, and how much will this injury affect his entire season at this point?
Yeah, he's getting closer. Not gonna put a timetable on it. We're gonna get him back when we get him back, and look, when we do get him back, I mean, he has missed some time, but at the same time, we're gonna put him right in there, and he'll be ready to go, and he'll help our defense. So just want to make sure he's 100%, and when he's back, he's full go.
Go ahead, Jeff, and then Pat Allen.
Doug, Jalen Hurts was inactive in week one. Moving forward, for him to be active, will he have to be involved in the game plan?
No. I think that's that's a week to week discussion that we have as far as the backup quarterbacks. And, you'd love to have all three quarterbacks up. We had Nate up this past weekend, and we make those determinations based on really injuries and where we are as a team, moving forward. So, but I would say that if he were up, he doesn't necessarily have to be a part of the game plan in any specific way.
If I could follow up, why do you want all three quarterbacks active?
I mean, why wouldn't you? If you're good at every position, it goes back to when I was a quarterback. I was the third guy, and I was, of course the rules were different, but I dressed every week, and you were kind of that emergency third, and it'd be great to have your three guys up, because it does give you some versatility if you wanted to do something with the other two guys.
Go ahead, Pat, and then Rube.
Doug, just to piggyback on the Aaron Donald topic, you've seen him a few times in the past, so you know how good he is. But when you game plan, how much thought and prep do you give specifically to just one player?
Well, obviously, it's hard to just specifically game plan one guy, because there's 10 other guys that fit within the defense, right, and fit within the structure of what they're doing. It's more about awareness of where he lines up, and is he to the tight end side? Is he to the open side? Is he playing a tackle? Is he playing an end? I mean, no, it's just part of their scheme. So, it's not about necessarily game planning a specific player as much as it is the whole entire scheme. But within that, as I mentioned earlier, we have to be aware of where a player like Aaron Donald lines up.
Rube and then Ed.
Hey, Doug, you brought in an interior lineman from the Lions, Jamon Brown. Would he be a guy who would be in the mix at right guard off the bat, or do you look at him as a guy you want to kind of just bring along slowly?
Yes.
Yes, which?
Yes. I mean, he obviously he's got to get in the mix, and he's got to get in the playbook. So terminology, he's got to pick up terminology, understand that first, and then we have to feel comfortable that we could put him in a game.
How long would that take?
I think that's a question for him to understand our playbook, and it wouldn't be the whole thing, but it'd be maybe a specific protection, maybe a specific run or two, and how well he were to grasp that information. But I think a couple of days, a week, he'd be okay and at least functional in a game.
Go ahead, Ed, and then Les.
Hey, Doug, just to kind of follow up on Rube's question there, you did add 2 guards to the roster with those 2 IR openings that you had. What went into that thinking to bring up 2, and how does that impact Nate Herbig's spot?
Well, you guys know in the past we've usually carried 10 offensive linemen on the active on the 53. And the thing that's it's also, I think, different too now, and this is what we're working through is our the practice squad roster, having the ability to manipulate that with different guys and having guys available on a game day. But this gives us O-line protection, especially the later you get in the season when offensive linemen become kind of a premium around the league. It protects us that way to have these guys on your 53. And in Nate's case, it's Nate's job right now, and he has to do everything he can to keep that.
Go ahead, Les, and then Jeff Skversky.
Hi, Doug. Do you expect Miles Sanders, Lane Johnson, and Derek Barnett to be full practice participants today? And with your offensive line, do you see any changes in the starting group from last week when you faced the Rams?
Well, the first part of your question, I do expect him to practice today. The only one that won't, I don't know if BG was in there. BG still being in the protocol won't practice, obviously. But Lane, Miles Sanders will definitely, and I already spoke on Hargrave, but Lane and Miles will definitely get some practice time today, and see where they're at at the end of today. And as far as the game goes on Sunday, we've got some time. We're optimistic that Lane can play, and if not, then Jack Driscoll gets another opportunity to start. So that's where we're at this point.
I'm sorry, Derek Barnett also did.
I'm sorry, Derek Barnett. Derek Barnett will practice today. Yeah, he'll be able to get some reps today.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Jeff, and then John McMullen.
Hey, Doug, good morning. Wanted to ask you, when you're coming off a loss in the manner in which you guys did, how much does that fuel you guys, whether it's the frustration, the anger, your emotions this week as you're getting ready for your next game? I mean, does that even elevate a little bit more as you get set for this next practice?
I think in our business, you obviously learn from the previous game or the previous set of circumstances, and it definitely wasn't our best, as you guys have so eloquently written about. And so for us, it's a matter of just going to work today and having a great day today and getting better today and starting the process, for Sunday. But I think you can always lean back on the good, the bad, and use that as some motivation moving forward. We know we got to play better, we got to coach better, and that's what we're going to focus on this week.
Thank John, and then Tim.
Hey, Doug. A lot of focus on the offensive line, obviously, but there seem to be at least a few protection issues with the backs as well. How much would getting Miles back help you in that part of it? How much did he improve in pass pro as his rookie season went on?
Yeah, he improved a lot throughout his rookie season. Pass protection. A lot of these backs coming from college football are not asked to do. They're asked to protect, but they're not asked to protect, or they don't see the types of defenses that we see on a daily basis, and the schemes and the different calls and all of that. And Miles really improved, all of last season. So, he's got to get back in there. He's definitely missed, obviously some practice time. So it's going to take, a little bit for him to get his eyes back, seeing, what he needs to see, listening to the protection calls from Kelsey or Carson, and go from there. But, having his ability to, pass protect obviously helps the whole unit.
Tim, and then Elliot.
When there's an off-field issue like the contract dispute between the team and Zach Ertz, what kind of role do you take, and does your experience as a player kind of help you empathize, with the player in that situation?
Well, I'm the head football coach, and so I take the high road. I encourage the player to try to eliminate the distractions. Leave that between the agent and the club, and just focus on your job. And I'm all for the player getting as much as they can, and I'm happy when they can. But at the same time, until that's obviously, until the contract is signed or, whatever it might be, I think it's just, from my standpoint as the head coach, just continuing to talk to players and say, hey man, let's focus on this week. Let's get better today. We got a game coming up, and this is how we're going to use you in this game, and try to get his mind, the player's mind, off of that situation, and let the powers to be kind of handle those contracts.
Go ahead, Elliot, and then we got time for one more after that. So Brandon.
Hey, Doug. Carson was dealing with a lower body injury before the start of the regular season. I was curious if that impacted your play calling at all in terms of moving him outside the pocket.
No.
Go ahead, Brandon.
To follow up on that, Doug, why then, didn't we see Carson Wentz moved out as much? I mean, he had a lot of success seemingly doing that at the end of last year. And going back and watching in week one, it didn't seem like he really was out of the pocket as much. Is that something we can expect to see moving forward?
Yeah. I'd love to be able to sit down and kind of maybe show you guys game film and study the tape and talk about scheme and all that kind of stuff. And there's opportunity. Carson's a great out of the pocket thrower. We understand that. Excuse me. But when we have 13 snaps that are second down and 7+, we didn't do a very good job on first down, whether we're running or passing the football, and so, utilizing an out of the pocket throw, a movement type throw when it's second and 13, I don't know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I think you have to, push the ball differently down the field, drop back, play action, whatever it might be, screen, but you just can't listen. Everything we do, obviously it starts with first down. And if you're not positive on first down, it affects what you do on second down. And obviously then it affects you on third or fourth down. So I would love to, have Carson out of the pocket more. He is dynamic outside the pocket, great vision and all of that. But again, we've got to do a better job on first down in order for a lot of those plays to take place.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.